You're listening to Served Up, a podcast that features inspiring beverage professionals and topic experts that share their passions through meaningful conversations. I'm your host, Bridget Albert, also known as a Market Fresh Mixologist, an industry mentor with decades of experience. Grab a cocktail and sit back. Let's learn how we can make a positive impact in our industry. Hey, y'all, it's Bridget here. I had the chance to sit down with Tural Hassanov. He is a celebrated beverage director known for his exceptional leadership in luxury hotels and high-end bar programs. With a defined palate and a flair for innovation, he has curated award-winning beverage experiences across the globe, setting new standards in hospitality excellence. Beyond the bar, he's a legend in his own right, once famously scaring away sharks with nothing but limes. A master of both craft and charisma, Tural blends precision and storytelling in every pour. So sit back, relax, grab yourself your favorite cocktail, and enjoy the show. Tural, welcome to Served Up. I'm so excited to have you on the show today.
Hi, thank you very much, Bridget.
Yeah, it's really exciting to have you. I know you have such an interesting story and you're doing so many great things. But let's start from the beginning. Tural, can you tell our listeners where you're from? Where did you grow up? And really, what made you curious about beverage?
Yes, actually, thank you very much for having me. It's an absolute pleasure and honor being with you guys. And I've heard a lot, and it's really exciting and time to spend with you. So I'm from Azerbaijan. Probably not many people ever heard of the name of the country. I don't even want to mention the city because not many people even know where the country is. So I'm from Azerbaijan. It's a small country in the Caucasian Mountains part. So it's a border with Turkey and the Caspian Sea and Russia. So I was born there. I almost grew up there, and I moved to when I was a kid. My family moved to Russia, so I grew up. Sometime I grew up in Russia. Then I moved to Ukraine. I studied in Ukraine a little bit, and then I moved from there back to Azerbaijan. From there, I moved to Bahrain, to Saudi. Then I moved to Maldives, moved to China, and now I'm here. So it's been a long journey, but very interesting one. Very interesting one.
Yeah, I do want to kind of revisit some of that because you have lived all over the place, man.
Yes.
I mean,
yes.
you really have. So, going from your home country to Russia to Ukraine could not have been such a small thing. And then winding up, and you're currently in Tampa, correct?
Yes, I am in Tampa.
That's quite a journey. So can we just can we dive into that just like a little bit? Like, what has that been like for you?
Of course. Yeah, I think if I would visit one of the most important and interesting parts, to start, I studied in Ukraine, this bartender school. I visited a small bar in Azerbaijan, and I'm telling this story to some of the people I discussed this with. I visited a small bar in my country, and I basically fell in love. I think this is one of the best moves I've done. So I like the industry. I've decided to go to study. I moved to Ukraine. I did this study, and then I started working there for a little time. And then from there I came back to Azerbaijan. I started working in Azerbaijan as well. And in 2012, if I'm not mistaken, I've already forgot, almost 15 years ago, I've decided I had a great opportunity to move to Bahrain. I've never heard of Bahrain. I've heard of it basically, but I've never even imagined that I would move some place like this. I've been to Dubai many times before that, but Bahrain now. So I moved to Bahrain. when I landed in Bahrain, one of the interesting things, when I landed in Bahrain, it's probably one of the biggest humidity in the world is in Bahrain. I've landed, I I came out of the airport. I stepped out of the airport. It hit me, the humidity and the heat. So I went back into the airport. I spent little time inside, tried to see what am I going to do, and then went for it, and I started working in Bahrain. It's a great place, small, very small island, nice hotels and great nightlife. One of the best nightlives I've experienced probably will be in Ukraine. I think of Ukraine, most of the greatest nightlives and activations in that part of the world it's coming from Ukraine. It was incredible, but in Bahrain as well. So nice nightlife, nice hotels, great service, great people, great food. So I worked there almost a year, and from there I moved to Dubai. I forgot to mention I moved to Dubai. I spent two different times in Dubai. The first time I moved to Dubai, it was I think 2014. I moved to Dubai. Was a hotel opening. Most of the places, by the way, I've been was the new opening or reopening, and that's why I gained this kind of opening knowledge that I have. So I spent a lot of time opening hotels, especially in China, where we had 480 hotels. I was kind of responsible for, and partially. So Dubai was an amazing journey in Dubai. Also, I don't know if you've been. Nice place as well. Great hotels, amazing development. Everything is new. I worked there a little over a year, and then I moved to Maldives. And this is where the interesting things start.
This
The
is where
island that I
wait, hang on a second.
yeah,
This is where interesting things start because I think that your journey so far is so interesting.
it is interesting, but Maldives is like it's another world. That's probably like I tell to many people. You have this Instagram and reality photos and pictures and videos, right? Maldives probably is the only place in the world that it's absolutely opposite. So in real life, it's much better than in photos. And I'm sure you've seen the photos that it's paradise like, but in real life, it's much better than in photos. It's the only place. The rest of the places, like, they take a picture of empty streets. And when you go to that street, there's 1 million people hanging out around. So you don't see anything. But in Maldives is other way around. And the interesting part was, I think, was the airport part of it. So you arrive to capital city, which is on island as well. And from there, you take a speedboat or you take the seaplane to arrive somewhere. So the airport I landed. So interesting thing was that you have your luggage and you need to check where the luggage is going, and you go and pick up your luggage. In there is just a car reversing. It's a truck reversing. There's a door. They just open the door and you tell them which luggage is yours, and they'll throw it at you.
Oh my gosh!
It's very small. The airport is it's like a ground floor of an office or something. It's so small. But it was an amazing journey. The island that I was in, it was so small, and probably that was the reason they flew me in the night time, so that I don't see how small it is. And I like to walk. So in the morning I woke up and I decided to walk the island. And guess how long it took me to walk the island, Bridget?
I have no idea how long.
4 minutes.
4
minutes.
Were you like, oh my goodness, what am I doing? What is this?
I didn't understand from the beginning, because 4 minutes for an island is just like, it's not, you basically can throw a stone from one part of the island to another part. But then it's so beautiful around it, so that you basically don't see a lot of things. But I asked them to move me. There was like a company that had a couple of islands. I moved to another island as well, which was second biggest island in Maldives. And but still, the second biggest island in Maldives is just like you walk for 15 minutes, not 4 minutes.
You went from like 4 minutes to 8 minutes.
Yes, so it was a big island, but yes, it was a beautiful place, beautiful people, nice. Like that is kind of a shock. Like the people living in there, they don't travel a lot. So imagine even in the United States, I'm trying to explain what Azerbaijan is, and just imagine what it took me to explain what Azerbaijan is for, for the people living really, really far, like 3,000 kilometers from the nearest land or country. From India, it was very close there, but especially from Sri Lanka. You could fly from Sri Lanka for a couple of hours there. But most of the flights are from Dubai. The easiest one is like 5 hours to fly there. But yes, one of the best experiences I had was there. I'm telling this story to a lot of people in interviews too. I threw limes to sharks. So where can you have this experience?
Yeah.
And it was a bar. We had a bar when there was a high tide. The bar, half of the bar was underwater, and so we had baby sharks swimming
That
around.
is crazy.
So I had to throw limes to sharks so that they don't scare off the people.
Oh my God.
So that's an interesting experience. Great fruit in the passion fruit. I got introduced to passion fruit there. I've had passion fruit before, but it was passion fruit growing next to the place that I was living. So I could just in the morning I could wake up, take my hand out of the window, grab a banana, go out, take a passion fruit, cut, eat the passion fruit, and go to work.
You were beyond, farm to table, like what we talk about now, right? Even
three to hand, I would say.
That's amazing. That's amazing. How do you go from that to Tampa? Oh my God.
But I was not Tampa after that. I moved back to Dubai. And in Dubai, when I moved, I worked on atmosphere. I don't know if you're familiar with the Burj Khalifa, the 124th floor. I was the bar manager of that account in Dubai. It's the highest located restaurant and bar in the world.
Yes.
Still.
Can you talk about just for a minute, what was that like for you? I have been lucky enough to have been to Dubai, but I want to hear from you as somebody who is really in the inner workings of that. Can you paint the picture of, first of all, what that looks like? And what was that experience like for you? And what were the guests like as well? Because it's such a luxury, almost like a once in a lifetime experience for so many.
I think what makes Dubai great is that it is very comfortable to live in. It's very comfortable to live in. Yes, you work a lot because of the competition. There's 5-star hotels, one next to another. You have the greatest hotel brands in the world that have 3 hotels in one city. Not many cities can have this. Like Shanghai can have some like 5-star luxury, ultra luxury hotel brand that has 3 hotels in one city. Dubai is one of them. Like Shanghai, New York, and Dubai are probably the only places that you can. And so that competition is really, really tough. You fight for the people, you fight for the activations, and you need to come up with something new all the time. When I was the second time, I didn't have this kind of challenges because the atmosphere in there, that account doesn't need promotion or something. We had wait line for 6 months. But people from all over the world, like from Europe, from Asia, from the United States, everywhere. The people visit from everywhere, mostly business travel and some family travel too. So the Dubai can offer that city, like business travel as a city, and can offer tourism, like family tourism, as a destination, resort destination as well. So it was great, as I mentioned, challenging to work, and too many competition, way too many competition. So you always need to come up with something. But they're great people who will work for you. So you don't do it yourself. you have a great team always. It's easy to find a really, really great and hardworking team when you're in Dubai.
Really amazing. And, I won't stand to by too much longer, but I know that the culture of drinking there is very different. Can we just talk about that for just a minute? And from when you were there, especially, it's different than today, even.
Yes, the culture of drinking is, yes, it is still a Muslim country. It is still alcohol consumption is not it's not allowed and it's not prohibited either. So it's just the designated places you can go and have alcohol. So basically, you don't have a total wine that you can go and or buy something. But there is free zones, they call free zones where the couple of liquor stores and huge ones, they have licenses that you can go with your ID and the purchase alcohol. But drinking culture, yes, you need to have the venue need to have the license, and not many venues they have a license. They do, but not all of them. They do have a license, and especially when there is a holy month for the Muslim people, it is for 1 month. Only handful of venues they would serving alcohol in there. So that is what makes it different from the rest of the world.
Yeah, it's definitely unique from the rest of the world in just so
Yes,
many ways. But like you said, it's so beautiful. It's very stunning, and it's a
but it
place
gives
worth
you
visiting.
great spices. Like you go to the
Mm.
spice market in Dubai, like you basically have so much options. If you want, for example, you want to come up with a cocktail menu, right? You have like you have endless amounts of spices, mixes, spices, aromas. And when you're in Dubai, like our number one focus whenever we were building a cocktail menu was the spices, aromas, basically aromas. And the aromatics in there, I don't know if you've noticed when you walk in Dubai, you can feel way too many heavy flavors. So you feel that perfumes that are heavy. It's wood. It's a lot of wood flavors and wood notes, and they are very dominant. And then you go to souk, which is the spice market. You
Yep.
go there, like that market from distance hits you, the aromas. All these dry limes, black dry limes. Like I still remember the black dry lime when I tried the first time. It's just like a life changing experience, and you come up with different like in Maldives. I had a lot of fruits to work on. And in Dubai, I had a lot of spices to work around. And you go to different countries and you get some different culture, first of all, and then ingredients that those cultures using. Like if you go to in Dubai, everything will be spices. You go to Maldives, it will be, I used to buy a full tuna for $1.
Wait,
Full
what?
tuna.
A
Like
whole tuna for $1?
you go to a dock in the morning where the fishermen bring their fish,
Mm-hmm.
and there's like bluefin, yellowfin, I don't remember which one. A tuna, whole tuna. It's huge tuna. $1. You pay $1, you get your tuna. And so everything from sea, it's very cheap there. And the fruits as well. So you basically don't drink water there because coconuts are just everywhere. You're trying to figure out what to do with coconut. Not like in here, you're trying to find coconut to drink. There you need to try find a place where to throw those coconuts. They're everywhere. No, it's great. Every place I visited, it's completely giving you a different perspective or different view or different materials to play with, which is very interesting.
It is really interesting. And when you talk about, going to the spice markets or working with coconuts, whatever is regional and indigenous, right, to that area, not only is it bringing flavor, but it also brings textures in, right?
Yeah, of
As
course. No,
well.
of course. You get completely different. Like if, for example, if you drink a coconut here and you drink a coconut in Maldives, it's different coconut. They're completely different coconuts. The one in there or in the one in the Caribbean maybe um, are the real coconuts. Right? So the flavor is very intense, very intense flavors, and it's like I used to make in Maldives. I used to make our own bounty. Like we were taking the coconut, just blending it, putting chocolate around, keeping it in the freezer. Just in the morning, you wake up, you take one small bar, and you're ready to, energize. You're ready to go for it. Yeah, I think it teaches you a lot. You have one challenge though, Bridget. Is the challenge is if you need to decide who you're looking at as a guest. For example, you're in Dubai, you want to attract local people, like not the local, like people living in Dubai. If you, for you as a foreigner, like if I visit Dubai, like I'm new to the Dubai, I see that spice market. I get amazed with the spice market. I say, okay, I can do so many things with this spice. But people, if you focusing or aiming at local people living in there, they've been in there for a long time. So I don't want to say they're tired of having the same things, and you come up and you offer the same thing that they see every other day, right? So that's the challenge. So you need to decide. We like whenever I build the concept, we try to build the concept first and try to see who is the consumer, but who is the guest. When you figure out that, and you add on top of it what is the concept, and you add on top of it what are you going to use, and you add on top of it how is it going to happen. So that's the important part, which is because it's going to be very challenging if you don't decide that part from the beginning. If you're aiming for the tourists visiting Dubai, yes, build that concept. But if for the people living in there, they can have many places offering it, and they go to spice market, they buy the spices, they fill their spices every time. So it's nothing interesting for them. That I had the challenge in Maldives, right? So I went there. I said this passion fruit, the passion fruits there. What I was doing is just taking a passion fruit, cutting in half, putting some salt, just eating it as a inside the passion. So if you build something based on passion fruit for the people who live there, and they trust me, they're like a handful of people living there, and you know all of them. If you're trying to bring it to them, they have that passion fruit in the morning, right? So it's not very interesting for them. So you need to decide. And in Maldives, it's not very difficult because you know that 99% of your guests will be visiting. And people there, they visit for a couple of days, sometimes week, and not more than a week. And they visit and they go. So you have 1 week with one person, for example, because the hotels are small, they're not very big, and the people visiting, they have no other place to go. Especially if you're in the island that is very small, and there's not even a shop on that island. It's just you see the same people every day. It's just becoming a family style, service.
And how long were you there?
I was there a year.
A year.
A
That's
year.
probably long
So
enough. I would think that would just, were you ready to move on after that year?
yes, because in the 3 months of that year is just rain, and it's not rain like
Oof.
our rain, so it rains nonstop for 3 months.
Yeah.
So, and you, just because it's the island and there's nothing on this island, you get scared that you will go underwater now because it rains 3 months nonstop. And
Ah.
sometimes it does rain very strong, like it rains
Mhm.
like there's no tomorrow. Um, so 3 months, nothing to do. Water is muddy, so you cannot dive, you cannot snorkel, you cannot go out to the sea because it's the storm is high, and the sea is not quiet. So you just stay at home, and after that you say, okay, that's time. Time. You can watch only so many movies, right?
Great. So take me to your next spot after
Next
that year.
spot, so I went back to Dubai, and that the place, the highest located bar and lounge in the world, um, one of a kind experience. Absolutely, the fastest elevator in the world. So I was living not very far from that building that I was working at, and I was living on 11th floor. And when I was coming to work, it was 124th floor. So it takes 56 seconds to go from ground floor to 124th
Oh
floor.
my gosh.
That's the fastest elevator in the world. And when I was going home, it takes around 2 minutes to go to 11th floor. So I was about to carry with me a chair or something because it gets so boring when you takes 2 minutes to go to 11th floor and 56 seconds to go to 124th floor. And one of the most beautiful things that I've experienced is that when you're in that building, when it rains, you don't see the rain.
Really?
Yes,
Why?
because you're above the cloud.
Because you're above the clouds.
Yes, yes. You basically, if you work there, you don't see that it's raining. You don't see, basically, you see sun all the time.
That's amazing. It really, really, I mean, it's such opulence, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Great
truly.
place. Really, really, truly great place to work at. And then from there, I moved to Shanghai from 124th floor to ground floor.
And this is where you worked at the Ritz-Carlton, correct?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
I did work
Yes.
there. Ritz-Carlton in Shanghai. And that hotel actually give me the biggest boost in my career.
Bigger than Dubai, bigger than being in Dubai.
Yes, 100%. 100%.
Really?
Shanghai is at least 20 years ahead of the world. It's crazy what technology and what service and what kind of things you can experience there. And the boost is probably was because of my previous boss. And he's the one who hired me, and he's the one who promoted me. He's the one who pushed me and taught me the intensity. Like I'll send this link to him to listen. Probably he'll be happy for me to share that it's intensity that he taught me, because intensity actually boosts your productivity so much that you cannot even imagine that. Is it me doing all these things? Yes.
Yes.
And in Shanghai, I worked a year and a half, and then I got promoted for the corporate beverage manager for the company, and that's where I start traveling like nonstop.
Yeah.
I've been to everywhere from Macau to almost any place in China. Incredible landscape, and here as well. So in China, in Dubai, spices. In Maldives, fruits. In Bahrain, there was nothing. But in China, you get to introduce to Baiju.
Yes.
Baiju and
Okay.
Guangzhou.
Can we pause for just a second? And because I want you to explain to our listeners what that is. Because our listeners tune in from about 65 different countries, and they might not be familiar.
Okay, Baiju, I'm writing a book about it. I've finished it. I'm trying to figure out the publication and things. When I tried the first time, and I'm sure people who try the first time, they think that they will not drink that thing anymore in their life. But when I tried, I actually it hit me other way around. I decided to go all the way and try to figure out what is this. So I visited almost all the distilleries in China that make baijiu, and tried most of the baijius that I can get my hands on. So basically, it's the world's most consumed spirit that nobody knows. Just because it's more than 90% of it is consumed in China.
Yep.
It means it's coming from Guangzhou. It will go back all the way. It will take like maybe 6 hours for me to go all over the topic, but I don't want to waste your time so much. It means white wine, because Joe is the main character that represents alcohol in China. And it dates back to thousands of years, where they found in oracle bones, they found that character. And that character actually looks like kind of there's like three dots that looks like a water drops. And Chinese language is more of a picture, right? So it's a character, so it needs to look as something. So it looks like a pot that has a water, coming out of it. So that is currently Chinese people refer to it as a wine. So in China, you have white wine, which is baijiu, not the actual white wine. You have beer wine, you have whiskey wine, you have like everything ends up with that character. And that character is literally translated as wine. So it's called white wine if you translate it, and it originates from Huangzhou, which is a yellow wine. And yellow wine is the ancestor of most of the um, fermented or distilled beverages in Asia Pacific. Even soju, sake, most of the things are coming from yellow wine. And what makes it completely different from the rest of the world is that the process of making it. Basically, baijiu has multi-parallel fermentation and distillation, which means in Western society, distillation happens. You take agricultural product or fruit, you ferment it, you get wine or you get beer. You distill wine, you get brandy. You distill beer, you get whiskey, vodka, whatever it is. So this multi-step. But in that, say, baijiu, it will be all together. A very strange process. There's not yeast. There is yeast, but it's not only the yeast that does the fermentation and process. It's also bacteria which is involved. It's like koji is coming from the Japanese koji is coming from this process, and it's called chu. And chu has a small chu and a large chu. Please stop me if I go too much into details.
Please keep going.
So small chu is rice based, and dark chu is sorghum based, and it's basically you prepare this fermentation starter. You keep in the damp, humid place, and it grows mold and bacteria. So yeast, in order to consume sugar to produce carbon dioxide and ethanol, needs readily available sugar. That's why if you fermentation of wine is much simpler process than fermentation of agricultural products. Because you need to have a germination if you want to do malting the barley, right? So sugars need to be readily available. You need to break down the chain of sugars into more digestible sugars for yeast. But that mold is so strong, it doesn't require that. It will just eat through everything, and it will consume the sugar part of it. So basically, not to go too much into details, baijiu, white wine, very strong wave pierce, it burns, and the distillation fermentation has bacteria as well, so it has funky flavors to it, and because it's not only the Saccharomyces cerevisiae that is doing all these things, and it's also a bread and other bacteria that's helping the Saccharomyces to do the distillation and fermentation, basically. So it has very funky flavors, but it depends on the brand. Some brands from north of China will be more palatable than some brands from south of China or central China. The south most probably will use rice-based, and the north will be sorghum-based. They add barley there too, but just because the grains were not, they were used for like flour and bread before, so they use sorghum because sorghum is easy to produce and easy to cultivate.
It's so interesting because you mentioned this, and I think that so many people are not familiar, and yet it's like you said, like the number one spirit basically in the world. I mean, it's
exactly
wild.
like it's and what is different is that the prices are crazy in there. Like there's baijiu brand that you can buy for 50 cents, and there's baijiu brand that you can buy for $3,000. And production same, materials mostly the same. And I visited the distillery as well. The branding is huge there, and like some brands they just charge insane amount. Like there's Quacho Maltai, probably the biggest, most valuable alcohol company in the world. I don't know their valuation, but it's in billions, the valuation. There's no other brand that can match the valuation of one brand that is mostly consumed in China.
Yeah.
And they have like
Really amazing.
seven different blends going in there. You can buy only 2 bottles. You cannot buy more than 2 bottles. And if you visit the distillery, you can buy 2 bottles. So it is very interesting. Yes. So drinking in China is completely different from the rest of the world because it is, first, the toasting is completely different. And that's what actually surprised me, that toasting in China is, so in what we do, we raise a glass, everybody does. And if you have a table of 10, everybody raises a glass, you say a toast, everybody drinks it. That's it, takes a sip or finishes it, depending how you like drinking. In China, it's not everybody, but people will go to different people at a time. So we open the hotels. You get drunk from the first round, first half an hour. Because if you have 12 people at the table, everybody will come to you with the toast, one by one.
Oh my goodness. How are they surviving?
That's why the dinners last like half an hour when you can talk about something, and the rest you're not able to talk about anything. So they will come to you, and it's a Gambe culture, and Gambe literally means, and that's like spoiler, some kind of, that's the name of my book. And it means empty the glass, or like empty glass, empty cup. So you have to finish it. You don't take a sip there, you finish it. So good luck if you pour for yourself a nice glass of red wine that thinking that, okay, I'll take my time sipping it. No, you'll need to finish it from the first person approaching you. And like that person comes to you, then another comes to you, then another. And the funny part is, then you have to do it.
Oh, and then you go last.
Yes.
How?
So you have to do it.
I didn't know this. I'm learning from you. This is amazing.
It's half an hour, Rachel. Half an hour. I give you half an hour if you want to drink in China or have a dinner in China. Yes, when it's baijiu, it's easier because the glasses are very small. It's a third of an ounce glass, and they fill it. You take, you drink it. Yeah, you have to finish. That's why the glasses are very small. But if like, and I like wine and I like beer, and so I pour for myself a nice IPA, and I wait there, and the next person comes, I have to finish the IPA. Then I am a big IPA person, and I like pour a glass of IPA, and how can I finish an IPA with one go?
You cannot finish an IPA in one gulp, nor should you finish an IPA.
Yeah, you should not do that. You can, but you should not do that for sure.
It's hard. IPAs are so hoppy, and then to oof.
It is, but it's addictive, right? So you bitter flavor profile is addictive flavor profile. That's why people like IPA. It's not that you like, and when I do trainings, I tell everybody that it's not you like IPA. It's just you addicted to it because of the bitter flavor profile. So you get used to bitter flavor profile, and you want more bitter and more bitter and more bitter. Mm-hmm. And human taste profile has this international bitterness unit, right? So it goes all the way from 1 to 40 IBU. Sometimes it reaches 100, but after 100, it doesn't make any sense. If it's 200, you won't feel it. Yeah, you won't feel it, but you want more bitter and more bitter. But anyway, back to China. I think we're going to.
We're just going around the world. I love it. So back to China. So let's talk more about the drinking culture and what you learned while you were in China.
So when I decided to try to build a menu based on baijiu, and people tried it many times, the flavor profile is very strong. As I mentioned, it's because of the fermentation and distillation, because it's not just one yeast strain, but many different factors. And it's very, I don't want to say bad flavor profile, but it's very distinct flavor profile. It's specific. Or you like it or you hate it. There's nothing in the middle. And when you try to build cocktails with this, you're trying to, mask the flavor of baijiu. And we tried that many times. It didn't work. Or you need to put, like, say, half an ounce of baijiu and 200 ounces of juice, so that you don't feel that And then it hits me that why would you even use that if you're trying to mask the flavor profile, right? So you need to find a way to balance. And that's my thing. I think everything needs to have balance. Good, bad, balance is the best thing. I spoke to one gentleman called Mr. Lee. He was in one of the persons, the biology professor. There, people every year they gather and they decide what kind of flavors of biojuice will happen. This professor, he wrote a lot of books on this topic, and I met with him, trying to use the translation to understand. And when he told me one of the best things that I've heard, that, and he said, throughout the Western spirits made by human, Chinese spirits made by microclimate, nature. So basically, whatever you make it decides what the flavor profile will be. Why? Because you take that in the fermentation starter and you put in a humid and damp place, and it grows mold and bacteria. And as we know, bacteria is microclimate based. So you can have one distillery in this part of the city, and there's mountain, and next other side of the mountain, there's another distillery. You choose that fermentation starter will taste and smell completely different. So that means your distillate will taste different as well, even if it's like 200 meters one from another, just because of the mountain blocks or river changes the microclimate or lake changes the microclimate. And this was same for the Western culture as well, because it was a wild fermentation. I'm sure you were better than more than I do that. And when this Carlsberg distillery, Carlsberg brewery, they figured out a yeast strain that everybody is using, and as a brewer's yeast, that baker's yeast, so everything tastes the same almost, just based on your ingredients. It tastes different. So basically, this is what he told me. And I decided, and I asked him, and he advised as well. If you're going to do something with baijiu, try to find the cuisine in that place and use ingredients that cuisine is using.
That's really smart, because then you know that they automatically like marry together, right?
Yes.
That's really smart.
Yeah. So and when the people in China, when they drink baijiu, it's table. So you don't just sit and drink. It needs to be a dinner. It needs to be everybody at the table, and the baijiu, the yellow wine, or any other drink in there, and it matches. So if you have a lot of ginger, a lot of spices there that they grow, and the food that they grow. One place that I went, they tried to give me sea cucumber to eat with the baijiu. I didn't try. No.
You said no?
There's some things that not mine. Like, I don't want to try. Mm-hmm. I've tried a lot of things in Maldives and in China as well. I think one of the best cuisines in the world, but there's some things that you say, okay, no, I'm not going to try it.
Well, they don't sound appetizing. They don't look appetizing.
They look, actually, it looks like eclair or something.
Well, no. I guess. So let's go from China to your next spot.
In China, I was in Shanghai, then I went to Macau and all the other places. I would tell you one story that happened to me and my wife, but I'm sure she will say why to tell that story.
Let's hear it. I love it. I love those kinds of stories.
We went to Guangzhou. That was Guangzhou. Yeah. We went to Guangzhou. We decided to go to eat something. We arrived at the restaurant, small place in the mall. We arrived in the restaurant. They brought us food. Everybody, they bring like utensils and plates, and they brought us a liquid. I believe it was a tea or something. And we start drinking it, we ordered. We start drinking it, and then server came and said that that's to wash your hands.
Are you kidding me?
Yes, I know it sounds like a movie or something, but yes. So basically, what they do is they bring you a tea or something before. So you pour into it's tea, and because in China they use tea as a not only drink and also sanitation and like
Okay.
it's coming from like 1,000 years ago, and that's probably one of the reasons why Europe. I don't know if you've heard of that. Water was not safe, so that people were
Yes, of
drinking beer.
course. Yeah, beer.
In China, didn't this was not the case because uh, people were drinking tea, not just
Okay.
water. And when you want to make tea, you need to boil it. And when you boil it, when everybody knows what happens, you basically pasteurize whatever you're boiling, right? So your heat kills everything. So they didn't have this. The water was safe, and the tea itself, tannins and all the antiseptic elements in tea sterilizes the kind of. So long story short, they use it. It's a culture or tradition. I don't know. And my wife noticed it actually. She said, "Look, people washing their hands with the thing that we're drinking."
Like, oh, they must be tourists.
Yeah,
You're
I'm
not from
sure. Yeah,
these parts.
yeah. And they said, "Who's this? What is Azerbaijan?" Yeah. And
Mm.
basically, yeah. Then I moved to. It was great 3.5 years in China. Amazing, like really, really amazing. Great people. The company leaders. Like I still do respect and try to keep in contact with my previous leaders there from the now CEO of the company, from
Mhm.
VP of the hotel that I was working. Incredible people, like incredible
Amazing.
people, incredible friendships in China who left actually. And then the States, 20
Then you
February
went up in
2nd.
Tampa?
Yes, February 2nd. And the funniest part with that is that Shanghai is like 50 million people living in, probably biggest city in the world. From one airport to another airport, we probably need to fly. I don't know. It's very, it's huge. It's a huge city. The metropolitan area, obviously. Um, and Tampa. So it's basically like you from Dubai to Maldives and from Shanghai to Tampa. I don't know what's happening to me, you know. So you go to huge city in that area, and then you move to the smallest city in another area.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah,
living in a little suburb, is what it is. I mean, but
yeah,
career has been so extraordinary because you really have stayed in that luxury space throughout your career, which
yes,
is not easy to do. And it can be so intense, right? Behind the scenes, the expectations are so high, for what you're
expectations are yeah.
producing and what you're managing. And Tampa is known really to have some beautiful hotels. I mean, whether it's like, the Westin, the Grand Hyatt, the JW Marriott, and you're at the Tampa edition and you're overseeing how many outlets?
We have 6 bars and restaurants. So it's very busy because it's it's this kind of luxury level first hotel.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very difficult. Not difficult. It's very very busy. And then whenever something new comes up, everybody's trying to visit and everybody's trying to go and enjoy and see
Mm-hmm.
and be seen in that place.
Sure.
So it gives us a lot of leverage because of the amount of business we're doing. Um, but yeah, it is a nice big difference from Shanghai to Tampa. But what I like in Tampa is that it's clean, really clean. There are a couple of things that people order in the United States that I really don't understand. And I had an interview with the Tampa Bay Times, and they asked me about the strangest order that I have received. And sometimes I'm jumping behind the bar. I'm trying to help the guys as well. I don't understand when people drink vodka and water to this
Really?
day.
Really?
It's 2 years already. People still ordering it, and I'm trying to tell them that don't do it. But still, I really don't understand. Like, it's very strange to me that, when I do trainings and I explain to my team as well, and I say like, by definition, vodka is no flavor, no taste, no aroma, right? this definition. No brand can say that we have the best flavor because by definition it's not true. And you add water to it. So you're just diluting something is that no flavor, no taste, no aroma. Even more, it was 60% water and now you're making it 80% water. It's strange to me. I'm trying to understand what people drink. Obviously, it's the best drink that is the drink that you like. Like
Can I tell you the strangest order I've ever had when I was working behind a bar at the Bellagio? I was part of their bar team when it first opened, which was also, 5-star, 5-diamond hotel. And I had a gentleman who'd come in and drink scotch and milk.
Scotch and milk.
Together. That's my strangest. I mean, it's no vodka water, but it was still very strange.
Yeah, I know. You should try to show it to Scotch, person from Scotland. And I know. In Dubai, we had one order, and whenever there was an interesting order, they were calling me. We had Louis XIII with the Diet 7-Up.
Oh, that's just wrong. And what did that cost him?
I don't know, $1,000. But
$1,000. Oh my God.
But I'll give that person a credit.
Yeah.
You know why?
I mean, that's what he drank. I mean, that's what he liked.
No, because it was diet, not actually.
Oh,
so you don't dilute it with like tons of sugar. At least it's diet one. Yeah, there are a lot of and this market is espresso martini market now.
Yes. Yeah.
Every second order is espresso martini. In China, 3.5 years, I've never seen an espresso martini. 3.5 years, not even one.
And how many are you serving today?
Like 6,000.
Wow.
You go to 6,000 around a week or something. Espresso martini.
It is really amazing how this cocktail has come full circle, though.
It's new vodka Red Bull, right?
Vodka Red Bull?
It's a new vodka Red Bull.
Oh, you know what? It kind of is. I mean, it's the energy drink, I guess, that people, want to have at all their bars. I don't know. It's strange because not only is it being served, at the bar, but we're also seeing so many like espresso martini RTDs.
Yeah.
I mean, they're everywhere.
After this, the beauty of espresso martini probably is that the creaminess. So I don't know if RTD can deliver that. There's some nice ones. I'm not a big fan. I don't drink espresso martinis, to be honest. We make them, and we make some of the nice ones too. But I'm not a big drinker of it, so I cannot judge which one is the best.
Let me ask you this. I have a question for you about the espresso martini. Okay. Is an espresso martini still an espresso martini if you add cream to it?
I think, I don't know. Can I go a little bit further than that?
You can, yes.
So the recipes in here is not the classic recipe. So whenever I go to bar, this is the story. I go to bar and I make margarita. It comes back. People don't like it. So when I'm doing the bar, I'm trying to help them with the bar. And the guys, they come, our service, they say, Tural, are you going to make that margarita? I say, yes. Please don't make your way. Make our way. So basically, in here, they add agave syrup and sugar to margarita, which in our original recipe has nothing to do with that. Basically, daisy turned to margarita, and it's a classic 3-ingredient cocktail, right?
Right.
But in here, it's sugar, agave syrup don't have that control that it should, and it's with the different kind of tequilas and stuff. So espresso martini is the same. Like anywhere you go, you ask an espresso martini, it will not be a classic espresso martini. Even with us, I'll be honest with you. It's not like we're making bad ones or we're diluting or something. No, we're trying to make it better. Mm-hmm. And when people try to make it better, they change it. Right? So same thing. Margarita, adding agave syrup would make it probably sweeter, right? So you don't need that salt to balance out the acidity from the or like enhance the flavor. The salt is a flavor enhancer. So does sugar does the same thing, correct? So they're trying to make it better. So we add a couple of like cacao to coffee that when we brew the cold brew, just to make
Nice.
it a little bit cacao flavors, give cacao flavors to it. And same thing with the cream, right? So it's calling it an espresso martini is, I don't want to say it's wrong, but you need to add something before it. That this is how we do espresso martini, or this espresso martini and something.
Right, right.
So you order an espresso martini, it comes with the cream. Maybe you like it and you keep on drinking like this, but when you go to ask espresso martini from another bar, it will not be the same. Like
Mhm.
I challenge you, go to ask espresso martini from 5 different bars. You'll get 5 different espresso martinis in
Absolutely.
ingredients wise,
Hmm.
completely different. No
Completely
venue will
different.
serve you classic espresso martini.
Yeah, yeah. I always think, when we add cream to it, does that make it like a cappuccino martini?
Cappuccino, not really. Cappuccino doesn't have milk, cream, right? So it's milk. Um, Maybe it's something in the middle of White Russian, and you make it um, look like espresso martini. You basically shake White Russian if you add,
Yeah, basically. I don't know.
right?
I'm getting really nerdy here because I'm going to tell you something. When I started making espresso martinis, it was in the 90s. And our recipe was Kahlua, vodka, and uzu.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's just so many different variations out there. And I always think
Yeah,
back to
yeah. Again,
what really
everybody's
truly
doing
makes
different.
an espresso martini because now you go into a bar and sometimes it has tequila as the base, right? Or
Yeah,
rum
a
as
lot
the
of people
base.
drink tequila espresso
Yeah,
martini.
yeah. And it's delicious. I just, it's just all just getting geeky over here with you. That's all.
Yeah, everybody. But what you said is basically like now I'm thinking about it is White Russian. It's a shaken White Russian,
Yes. Thank you.
right? And a lot of a lot of people order now with the Bailey done. I think it tastes nice, not bad.
Yeah. It,
But
it
again,
tastes
I'm not.
nice. It's
Yeah,
just,
I'm not
when we
big
look
fan.
back at what an espresso martini is, if I look at a glass of espresso, what should it look like? What should it taste like? Right. It's
I
just,
think if you all of this becomes slightly sweet, and if anything is nicely balanced sweet, it tastes good.
mhm.
Not overly sweet, not dry, nicely balanced sweet, tastes nice. And another thing, I think the blue cheese olives, martini. We have a martini experience in one of the venues that we're working. So I don't want to go into much details, Kyle. I know that I don't for the venue, but we have a martini experience. I came up with a martini experience um, that we want to offer people to build their own martini. So it's basically called Martini.
Nice. Oh, a martini.
Yes, it's called
I
Martini.
love that. That is so cute. A
So
martini.
what you do is you choose base spirit,
Mm-hmm.
and this one I took from the piano, and my mother she's a piano teacher. So you know that there's only 6 keys and the music that you can create it. And so kind of this idea behind that we have one card, martini card, 2 gins, 3 vodkas, 3 vermouth as an appetizer, 3 ways of making it, and 4 garnish options. And it gives you thousands of variations of martini.
Yes.
Because of this, you just play around and you get a lot. And one of the challenges that we have, it's not challenge like in the States, people drink martini as vodka shaking with olive juice. And this
Mm-hmm.
takes us back to definition of vodka. Right, so you need to have vermouth in martini because you need to have aromatizer. But otherwise, it's I don't know, it's not martini. And you shake something that is no flavor, no taste, no aroma with olive juice, and you drop the blue cheese olives, and which is olive. The olive juice, it's just the salt, right? The salt enhances the flavor, makes it easier to drink and more palatable. And people think that they like actually olive. It's just the salt, I think.
Well, it's interesting, like what the salt itself can do to a spirit, right? I mean, it can mellow it out. It can definitely enhance aromas. It can do so many different things when you add
we add salt
any
into
kind of
everything.
brine or anything that's like salty forward, right? So I think that what you're doing is really cool. I think it's really fun. And I love that term martini. You should put it on a shirt.
No, it's nice. I think if you have a chance to visit, it's really nice and great because you get basically your own martini, and like you remember that, or we try to remember your order. And when you come next time, the second person ordering martini will be completely different than what you ordered, because everybody had their own. Yeah, it is cool. So you can come and we remember your drink. We remember which gin you prefer, what kind of vermouth you prefer, what kind of way of making you prefer. Because we throw most of the martinis. It's visually appealing and interesting, entertaining a little bit, and it's the oldest way of making a drink. So it's most people ask for shaking, and I tell them that let me throw and then fry it, because when you throw it, it gets aeration and becomes crisp. So.
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned your guest who is, had a really interesting drink order, but who is your most memorable guest?
As a person, or is it like the group of people?
Well, group of people or one person. Do you have a good memory to share?
Not really. Not really. We have a gentleman. I don't want to mention the name, but we made the cocktail for him. Yeah, we made the cocktail for him, and we put his name on the cocktail. It's like nickname on the cocktail, and went to menu, and it's still in the menu. And then we have a gentleman who comes for the same martini that we made for him. He comes and always tries that martini, and he brings his friends to try his martini because he made it. Because he was excited, he was very excited. Okay, let's do a little bit of this vodka, a little bit of this vodka, because we offer like 3 variations of vodka. Let's try this vermouth, but add a little bit of this, little bit of that. So he was very excited, and I got excited with him. So we tried, and he's basically bringing every week someone.
That's so fun.
Try my
show it off.
Like not show it off, but he wants to share. Like it's humankind, right? So it's want to share a great experience.
Absolutely.
And he always comes and say, "Oh, I made this is my recipe," and he always asks me to make it. I know his so it's vodka. No, sorry, it's a gin, blonde vermouth instead of dry vermouth. He wants it thrown, and he wants lemon peel, 1 lemon peel in a glass, and then drop Kalamata olives in it.
I love that he brings his friends back.
Yeah.
To share with them. And I think that that's lovely, because that's what hospitality is all about.
Apart from that, we have a lot of people visiting our speakeasy bar, which is people, they come back for an experience. It's a very small place. That the people, they come, they like the experience, because our new menu offers it's kind of a journey too. We launched a new menu called North America, the Americas, and the part 1 is North America. So we go from south all the way to north. You start from south of Mexico with the mezcal, and then you go to tequila, and then you go to tepache, and then move to Florida with the rum, California with wine, Kentucky with bourbon, New York with everything together. Then you move to Okanagan Valley with wine, and then cider, and then you end up with beer in Canada. So rice wine, ice wine, and cider. So it's like everything from those regions we use. So very interesting.
Is this your menu at the Punch Room?
Yes.
Yes, I've heard. So I want to experience that.
It's a beautiful menu, really. It's like we went a little bit too far, I would say. Went a little bit too far, especially the guys. Richard, the one of the bartenders, he did his own mole, and it's like 30 ingredients in it or 50 ingredients in it. He makes it.
Wait, say that again.
Um,
How many ingredients?
30 ingredients, more than
Oh,
30 ingredients in that mole.
wow.
And then Brian made something special. Like we made in New York is basically a kind of clarified Long Island, which we bottle and we carbonate and bottle, and we give you the bottle basically.
Oh,
So
that's
you
really
just take the
nice.
bottle and you drink from it. And yeah, it's very very interesting. Very
It
interesting.
is.
Yeah.
What makes you happy?
Um, work wise or in general?
General.
In general, now probably my son. He's 5 months next week.
Oh,
Yeah,
congratulations.
thank you very much. Great guy. Yeah, and my family probably family. And I really enjoy my work. I really do. Um, it's more than 15 years, and like I wake up, I cannot wait to come to work.
That's really great. You
Like,
know, have your
it's
perspectives changed since you've become a father on your balance of work and home life?
you need to try to balance, but my wife, she helps me a lot. She's basically doing everything. And and she knows I like working, and work makes me really happy. I took 3 weeks of paternity leave, and like I was so bored.
Oh,
Not like bored because I had a lot of things to do with the baby, but work is my life, and my wife, she's always telling me that you cannot talk about anything else but work. So I think I don't know if it's good or bad. Maybe good part is that I know it well. That's why I can talk about it. Um, but bad part probably is that I'm always here, and I'm not interested in many things because I really like my job and I want to do it the best. Yeah, that's why I wrote the first book, second book, and third book is coming out hopefully.
yeah, I can't wait to read it. I think that it's really interesting. And I asked you that question because I actually don't believe in work life balance at all. I'm a mom, I'm a wife. Our daughter is 21 years old and in college. And I've been in this business for over 30 years. And I can tell you something that, and I just recently had this conversation with someone, and it's almost like you have to have that satisfaction that you did the best that you could at the end of the day. That's it.
Yeah.
Because
No,
your
I think
energy, when it goes somewhere, it doesn't go somewhere else. And my friend Jessica told me actually very recently that there's a term, instead of saying balance, saying you have work life harmony.
true, true. Good point. Balance is important in some things, but whatever you do, if you want to be kind of best at it, it should be an obsession, not a work. I think so. That's my opinion. You need to be obsessed with something to be able to not give up.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And especially in the business that we're in, right? I mean, it is aggressive. It's not for the weak. I always say that. Can we talk about your books? Can we talk just a
Yeah.
bit about your book, Distilled, My Encyclopedia of Beverages in Spirits and
Yeah, I
Cocktails?
had I was when I was in China, I was trying to build a training program. I built a very big training program, trying to to offer to the team. And it became very big. I sent it to editor and tried to figure out how we can edit because it became too big. And editor, she said, why would you use it or cut it? Like, it looks really nice. Just make books out of it. And I liked the idea. I said, okay, let me try. So I did the first book, and I tried to break down. So what would a great encyclopedia would look like? Obviously, there's compendium by many people that it's a great historians and names in the beverage industry, but I was thinking that what can I do that would cover the entire beverage? Anything liquid, from water to baijiu, from sake to cider and perry, like everything. And then I came up with an idea of breaking them down, and then when they all finish, putting them back together. So I said, okay, let me start from distillation because I know distillation the most. So I went to distillation, I did the distillation part, and then I did the fermentation, and it's supposed to be modification, mixed. So basically it's called distilled, fermented, modified, mixed, and untouched. So all together would form an encyclopedia. And the last part would be how to drink, kind of how to drink responsibly, what alcohol does, how liver breaks down the elements of the ethanol in the body, and how water helps the liver to speed up the process. And so started from distillation, and I called everything with its category, the header name, and then as it's part of this encyclopedia of beverages. It still took me, I think, 3 years to finish. I had to go through a lot of materials to read, and study, and edit and remove. The topic is huge. You cannot put it in one book.
It's massive.
Yeah.
What you tackled. That's why I'm asking. I mean, I don't even know how you explained how you broke it down and everything, but it's massive. I'm surprised it didn't take you longer than 3 years.
Well, just distillation, because most of the parts I cut, and so I said, okay, what we do? We start from what is the history of distillation, ancient era, the modern distillation, ancient distillation. Where is it coming from? And then it moves to the distillation itself as a main topic. What is distillation and what's happening during the distillation? And then post-distillation treatments, and then moves to the distilled spirits around the world, with all this baijiu, the slivovitz, and everything around the world. And then moves to the main categories like vodka, gin, tequila, rum, 6 important categories. So that it ends up with the alcohol's effects on human body. So when you start, it looks huge that you know that, okay, what am I going to do? And what I try to do is I just put together all the information, put whatever comes to my mind, put together. The preparation itself is the biggest part, not the writing. I think so. In my case, it's like that because I tend to make everything organized, which consumes double the time. I can produce something in shorter time if I wouldn't be me. And I am not big fan of it because I think sometimes it's too much. Like I go to okay, vodka should be first. Why? Because I want to go Long Island. I want to go vodka, gin, tequila. And some people would ask why, just start from something. And that arrangement may take me 1 week. Like, okay, just to think about what will come first and why, right? So basically I put vodka first before the whiskey because kind of whiskey is vodka before aging. So you're trying to figure out all these things. And that's the biggest part. Just put all the ideas, and especially now, you can put all the ideas because there are a lot of information out there. Put all the ideas together and then you break them down.
Then that's how you organize.
Yes, then you organize and then you write.
Yeah, then you write. Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, I can't even imagine. Daunting, your book.
Yeah, it's distillation was very interesting. The fermentation is nice. I step aside a little bit when I try to do the baijiu because there are a couple of books about baijiu that are interesting, but they don't go into too much into detail of the production.
Okay.
Right. So, because of that, the parallel fermentation and distillation is an important topic. I decided that, okay, people need to know that there is something that is not fermented in tank, move to first still, distill to 25%, move to second still, and distill to whatever the volume will be. No, everything happens in one place.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So
It's
people
so
need to know
interesting.
about it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. I would love to meet you in person sometime. I hope that I get to spend some time with you.
Of course, yeah. I also think it would be great to spend some time with you, because I really enjoy spending time with the people that are smarter than I am. So it gives you more how to say more knowledge. I don't know, like it's the knowledge share that you do is basically you have much more experience than I do, and you have much more knowledge than I do. So if I meet you, it would be more beneficial for me.
Wow,
So,
I feel that way about you. I think that you are way more knowledgeable than I've never thrown limes at baby sharks. I haven't done that yet. Maybe someday we can do that together. I don't know. But you've been just a joy and an absolute delight, and you are so fascinating. And I do think that your next book should maybe be your biography.
you think so? I
Yes.
think I'm still like.
You need to write these stories down. You need to write them down.
I have some of them have in my it's like a video in front of my eyes, because they were some of the most beautiful experiences.
Yeah.
And in Maldives also, like I wanted to buy something in a shop, and there's no shop, and you have to go to another island to buy the shop. So something from the shop, and to go to another island, you need to take jet ski, and when you take jet ski and go to another island, dolphins chase you.
Oh my God.
So there's nothing like that experience. I think you don't, there's no way you can experience something like that in any other part of the world.
No, we don't experience that here in Chicagoland. I mean, it's just wild. Your life is so cool. You need to write it down, and then they need to make a Netflix series out of it. We can binge watch you. That would be so fun. Do that.
Yeah, maybe not.
I would love to have you back again if you would be willing to come back on.
Of course. Yeah, I think this was amazing. I'm sorry that I'm talking so much.
You know, in the future and what you're up to. And, you know, with that said, I want to wish you just some great health and so much peace. And it's been just wonderful having you on the show today.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thanks for listening. Served Up is brought to you by Southern Glazers Wine and Spirits. Produced by Zunu.online. Music by We Killed the Lion can be found on Spotify. Make sure to subscribe to be notified of our future Served Up episodes. Cheers.